Today on One Always There. Today on One, your daily dose of local affairs and social media commentary.
Today on One, Works Ministry reports that 1/3 of government capital projects still incomplete. PDM blames Walvis Bay crisis on SWAPO. Aviation industry battles to survive amid COVID-19. And Mine Workers Trust to support its members with financial benefits.
A report prepared by the Works and Transport Ministry on abandoned and incomplete government capital projects in all 14 regions of the country shows that of the 153 government capital projects awarded to contractors, only 54 of these projects were successfully completed. From this figure, 56 are still to be completed and currently ongoing, while 43 are abandoned and left incomplete in most regions of the country. Minister of Works and Transport John Mutora at the feedback session on these projects revealed that some of the incompleted projects date as far as 2012, adding that this matter is a serious one as government has lost money in these projects, further calling out those directly involved and responsible for the implementation of these projects.
If you go there, the government is transparent. They will list the last column, they will list the number, the names of capital projects that are budgeted for by the various ministries. So people know that for our region we are expected to have this project, this project, this project, this project. Because that's what we say in Parliament there. Now when it comes to the implementation, a different route is now taken. And obviously, government is not doing anything. Government is not doing anything. Government is not doing anything. Credibility of government is gone. But those individual officials, be they contractors again, be they consulting engineers, being they principal agents, being they officials of government in the various offices, ministries, they sit and relax. Nothing happens to them. Nothing happens to them.
Mutora added that his ministry will now, through its executive director, trace and ensure that the affected capital projects are successfully completed and that persons found in any wrongdoing of the implementation of these projects will be dealt with by law.
If the money was meant for the project, but that money has vanished, how do we get the money? First, we have to check, why did this money vanish? If somebody has through crooked ways, taking the money, okay, we say, okay, the law will take cost now. You responsible. But project must finish. Then ways and means should now be devised there to ensure that there is some money to complete the project. The government is determined that the project must be completed. If the money was squandered, that money, whoever squandered the money, must be held individually accountable through the due process of law. But it does not solve the problem. We still have to say, now what now? Where do we get this money now from our budget to complete the project? Because people are entitled to get that particular project.
Mutora expects a report on the progress of the incomplete projects by the end of next month, which will then be forwarded to the head of state.
The new All Seasons Moisture Body Lotion from Nivea Men. For 0% stickiness no matter how hot you are, and 100% moisture no matter how cool you are. Get deeply nourished, healthier looking skin. New Nivea Men All Seasons. 0% stickiness, 100% moisture. Nivea Men, it starts with you. Nivea Men All Seasons, now available in a cream.
PDM Secretary General Manuel Ngaringombe blames the dark cloud looming over Walfish Bay's Twaloloka informal settlement on bureaucracy and incompetence of the Walfish Bay municipality and of the central government. Ngaringombe says last night's fire, which killed a one-year-old baby and left many people homeless, is a product of the urban housing crisis.
The urban housing crisis has now totally spiraled out of control under the SWAPO-led government. The burning down of the Twaloloka informal settlement is just a product of massive urban housing crisis. It is about time that each Namibian is given a plot to call home. And this can be achieved through the One Namibia, One Plot policy proposal as outlined in the PDM manifesto for the period 2020 to 2025.
Sources say the fire allegedly started in one of the shacks and spread throughout the informal settlement. Ngaringombe says PDM members are handing out blankets and mattresses.
This is a very difficult period for the people of Twaloloka, and the PDM will do everything in its power and resources to make sure that the community is rebuilt. We also call upon the municipality of Walvis Bay to fast-track the relocation of the residents of Twaloloka informal settlements to the adequate housing facilities, especially in the face of the looming COVID-19 crisis in Walvis Bay.
Other Good Samaritans are also at the scene, providing a helping hand, including the SWAPO Party Youth League, which has availed 50,000 Namibia dollars for the people of Twaloloka. After numerous requests for an interview, SPYL leaders were engaged in a meeting and only told today on One that people should not be politicizing this unfortunate incident.
Hi, I'm Sam.
I'm also Sam.
Meet my little Sam. Only the best for my son.
Sam! I'm Sam! This is Sam, live.
I'm Sam and I'm...
So why should their cover be? New personal cover from Old Mutual lets you build the cover that's right for you and your budget. And it's easy to change as your life does too. The time is now to get personal cover that's just for you. SMS cover to 66522 today.
The Namibia Civil Aviation Authority recently announced that the aviation watchdog has been battling to make an income since the nationwide lockdown was implemented in the country. The aviation industry was recently identified as one of the 3 hardest hit sectors in Namibia's economy, together with tourism and construction. It was also announced by the Finance Minister, Ipumbu Shimi, that in an effort to protect job losses and financial hardships, these 3 hardest hit sectors would receive a bailout package from the government and Social Security Commission to the tune of 650 million Namibia dollars. Speaking at a recent press conference, the NCAA's interim executive director, Reinhard Gardner, announced that the aviation watchdog's income had significantly dropped with more than 90% between March and April 2020.
With COVID coming in, of course we have gotten budget. We are a non-commercial SOE. We are a regulator. We live from the income of our fees and charges. If an aeroplane takes off in Cape Town, flies to Frankfurt through our airspace, he has to, it's like a toll gate, he has to pay. If somebody takes off here to Frankfurt, every passenger must pay a safety fee for us to be able to oversight the safety. So we've got fees and charges. But we only get those if the aeroplanes are flying. If they're on the ground, we get nothing. What happened in COVID, Mr. Gentleman, COVID? The aviation industry was one, with the tourism industry, of the most hurt and most bleeding industry. So much so that the government actually pronounced financial support for construction, aviation and tourism. We still have to see the money, but doesn't matter. Our income from March to 2020 to April dropped with 91.04%. So much so that we are now asking ourselves, but hang on, how are we going to pay salaries? Can we continue with the recruitment process? We still need certain critical positions which are not still today not filled. I mentioned a few, and there are numbers, lots others. Remember last year, July, 0 people on our, well, we paid, but they were not NCA staff. Today we are 150. We did great strides. We were really building this place until COVID came.
Besides the significant loss of income in the aviation sector, Gardner also explained other challenges experienced by the aviation regulatory body during the lockdown, such as taking decisions on the repatriation flights which brought Namibians who were brought back home, as well as opening the airspace for flights which brought international guests to attend Namibia's 30th independence celebration.
We have got cash flow issues. We had issues in the office, closed down overnight, and now we must find ways to still carry on our oversight functions. But the biggest problem was zero income. How do you cope? And that's why I always say, judge us on what we did and not on what we did not do. It was seriously a challenging time for an oversight, aviation oversight system and legislator. I can tell you, on that Tuesday before 17th of March, Saturday was the Independence Organization. KLM with their first repatriation flights. My last call that night was 1:15 from the ministry. And the first one the next morning was 6 o'clock. And then the VIP flights came in for the independence. We closed the airspace. I get a phone call Saturday morning, 6 o'clock. Why don't you let the Angolan and the South African flights come in? I said, guys, you closed the airspace. Yeah, but you must make exceptions. Now, these were the things getting dovetailed in a time of a lockdown overnight, and we have to carry on with our functions. It was not easy. Trust me, it was not easy. The late night calls I had just for repatriation flights, for emergency flights, etc., it was sometimes chaos. And then you must still make decisions at night, legal advice to bed, and I must say yes or no. Not a nice position to be in, trust me.
According to sources, the NCAA allegedly lost 15 million Namibia dollars monthly since the lockdown. Gardner also informed the media that the last International Civil Aviation Organization security audit for Namibia took place in November 2018, and after several postponements granted by ICAO, the agreed date for the next ICAO safety audit is scheduled to take place from October 19th to the 6th of November 2020.
Share with us on #LearnOn1. Tell us what you're learning and where you're learning it from. Send us your name and town to the One Africa TV's WhatsApp on 081 200 6659 or send an SMS to 555. One Africa TV. It just gets better.
Established in 1997, the Namibia Mine Workers Investment Trust (NAMIT) is aimed at improving the quality of life for current and former members of the Mine Workers Union and has launched a project that will support over 200,000 people. The president of the Mine Workers Union of Namibia, Ellen Kalumbo, at the launch of the beneficiary registration project, strongly urged all beneficiaries to register and to benefit from the project.
In response to this inconsistency, the social issues faced by workers in the mining and energy sector, it is great pleasure that NAMID launches its first beneficiary registration project, which is aimed at ensuring that all beneficiaries have been registered and their social status is known. This enables the Trust to initiate activities aimed at improving the welfare of mine workers. The Trust will assist its beneficiaries in whatever activities they embark upon, as well as enable beneficiaries to claim their return of shares from the Trust. The goal of the Trust is to provide education of mine workers and ex-mine workers, particularly by retraining and reskilling, to provide for development projects such as projects for mine workers and mine workers where appropriate for their immediate communities, to provide for projects such that enables ex-mine workers to engage in other forms of economic advancement.
Responding to questions from the media as to why the Trust is seeking registrations 23 years after its establishment, Project Manager John Deutepo explained that the Trust did not have enough funds to assist the beneficiaries as it relied on resources from its stakeholder NAMIC.
This Trust, it gets income from a company called NAMIC Holdings through dividends, as it's the shareholder of that company. Now, the date that the Trust was established is the same time the company was established. So one can take the 23 years as a process of growth. I think, I don't know if the President mentioned that, but when the company was started, it was started with 600,000 Namibian dollars. Today, from the previous financial year, we're talking a company having a net asset value of 547 million. Yeah. So over those 23 years, the company has come of age. The company participated in acquiring shares through debt. As you can see, the amount of money used to start the company was probably merely administrative. So over the years, the company would be paying off debt with their returns from these investments which they come into. And maybe we can say for the past about 3, 4, 5 years, the company started paying significant dividends to the Trust to enable it to do certain projects. Now, in terms of registration, why the beneficiaries are only being registered now? The beneficiaries are defined as current members of MUN, ex-members of MUN, and their children. Now, such an exercise was, the beneficiaries were defined in the deed of trust by that time. Okay, all definitions came also to be reviewed in terms of when the deed of trust was reviewed.
Registration forms are available at constituency offices countrywide, and NAMID is therefore prepared to make a difference in communities around the country by assisting its beneficiaries through the various projects.
When you're saying things that degrade women, for me, number one, I am not there, because that is basically what I don't believe in. I don't stand for things that degrade women.
What do you think we can add? What can we put in the basket? First of all, let's put Blossom back in the basket.
Look at the person like it, man. Let's do a song.
Let's do something.
Just
let's
like
collaborate.
Let's collaborate.
The Americans were claiming us.
Yes, exactly. To the rest of the world, they belong to us. Namibia, Baba, Namibia.
I'll help you carry on.
Creating music and putting some stuff out for the people who've been supporting me, that's definitely something that's next on my list.
In other leading stories, the governor of Oshotonjupa region delivered his State of the Region address after 100 days in office this week. In his speech, James Uwarukwa gave his constituents an update on the state of the region in response to the COVID-19 outbreak, noting that the regional leadership has devised a response and preparedness plan that has since been submitted to the central government for funding. In the region alone, a total of 738 people were tested for COVID-19, with 7 confirmed cases, 595 negative cases, and 136 cases pending results. A total of 467 people were quarantined, while 416 cases were discharged after quarantine, with another 51 still under quarantine. The total number of identified people who were in contact with confirmed cases in the region stands at 118, with 60 active contacts and 58 discharged contacts. He further urged the region's inhabitants to adhere to the COVID-19 protocols and regulations, which include the mandatory wearing of a protective face mask in public and businesses, limiting the number of people at public gatherings to not more than 250, and maintaining social distancing of at least 1.5 meters. He expressed solidarity towards those in Erongo region, and especially Wolfish Bay and Swakopmund local authorities, as they navigate through the growing number of confirmed cases and COVID-19 related deaths. Welcome to Comments Corner, your daily dose of local comments from the hottest social media pages. A task team of deputy ministers are currently visiting Wolfish Bay on a fact-finding mission as COVID-19 cases and deaths continue to rapidly increase in the town. Daphne wished that the delegation had brought ventilators, nurses and doctors. Hendrik said that the leaders remain humble. Otto said that the leaders must give the unoccupied houses in the town to those affected by the fire over the weekend. PK said the trip was a waste of resources. Astrida said if the leaders truly want to assist those in need, then it should tackle the problems, as they do not want to depend on handouts. The Window Police Station in the Central Business District will soon get a new appearance after paint producer Neo Paints donated 300 liters of paint to get the building revamped. David said other police stations across the country should also receive paint as they are not up to standard. Siwanja thanked the company for the kind gesture. Dominguez said the police still take long to show up at crime scenes. And that is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day only on Today and One.
We always love to hear from you. Send us your views, comments and videos with your name and town to the One Africa TV's WhatsApp on 081 200 6659 or send an SMS to 555. One Africa TV, it just gets better.
From Cape to Cairo, Accra to Antananarivo, there are millions of people just like you trying to make a living to make money. And there's no magic way to get rich quick, unless you're Aliko Dangote. You're not Aliko Dangote, are you? No? Well, perhaps we can help you get a little further along the way. With BBC reporters all over Africa, we find the stories, the successes, and the startups that will help you make the most of your money. This is Smart Money.
Now a look at the weather forecast. The interior partly cloudy and mild in the south, elsewhere sunny and mild to warm, wind fresh easterly to northerly. The coast partly cloudy and warm to hot with fog patches in the south. The wind moderate northeasterly to fresh southerly. Now a look at the minimum and maximum temperatures around the country and beyond.
Enjoy these fantastic payday savings at Clicks until 6 August. Buy Yardley body spray for women 90 mils, 2 for $54. Buy Pampers baby dry disposable nappies jumbo packs, now 2 $25.99 per pack. And buy Nivea lotion or cream 400 mils, 2 for $75. Buy Omo Auto washing powder 2 kgs, 2 for $102. Clicks. Feel good, pay less.